Hi there, my name is Dylan Baker and this is part of a tutorial series for the Incident Command Assistant software. In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about using the software to complete your incident action plan. As you know, this includes determining the urgency of the task, the incident objectives, communications plan, medical plan, organizational chart, subject profile, briefing, and we're also going to include the safety plans in this lesson as well. So we'll get all that done and it'll go faster than you think. Alright, so this tutorial series is not meant to be a set of lessons on using the incident command system. That being said, just to make sure we're all on the same page, when we say the incident action plan, I'm referencing those documents that have the little IAP there in this list of all of the ICS forms related to search and rescue. And so you see there's quite a few of them there, and most of them are supported within the app, the ones that made sense to support. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is set the urgency of our task. And we'll do that right up here in the top corner, task urgency. Click on the little calculator button, just pick whichever options are appropriate to the task in question. You'll see these are the same ones that are shown on the ICS form. Just hit save once we're happy with those results. Okay, with the urgency set, let's start filling out the rest of the incident action plan. To get to the incident action plan, you're going to want to just click here. It says incident action plan, or on the down arrow there. And there's buttons to start the various elements of that incident action plan. We're going to start with incident objectives. So here you'll see a screen that lists all the incident objectives you've already added and lets you add new ones, either based on the pre-made ones you've saved ahead of time or by writing a new one. So we'll start by adding a couple of the pre-made ones. We want to complete our incident action plan. Let's determine our search area and complete a thorough search of that 25 percentile area. Let's also deploy our canine team. We want to make sure we get them in the field really quickly. So now that you've added them here, you can just click on any of these to add any text you want to do or take any away, and you can move them up or down in the priority order. Once you're happy with the results here, you can go ahead and hit print objectives, and it will open up a PDF with our standard ICS form, basic information filled in, and then your incident objectives. And if you scroll to that second page, there's your urgency rating as well. So that's about it for incident objectives. Pretty quick, pretty straightforward. Let's just shut that off and move to the next one. Alright, so next we're going to do the communications plan. Just click on the button here. And here we've got the communications plan laid out pretty much the same way as the ICS form. You've got a various set of pre-made functions here, and you can write your own additional functions as well. For operations, I'm going to pick radio channel 1. For support, I'll pick radio channel 2, and under repeater, I'll pick this test repeater that I've created. You'll also notice these little question boxes here. That just reminds you that operations will map to the primary channel on the team assignment forms. Support will map to the secondary channel on team assignment forms. Emergency obviously is emergency, and repeater will map to the emergency repeater section on assignment forms. If you need to add a new comm system while you're in here, just hit this Add New Comm System button, fill out all the information as needed, hit save, and then it will appear in these drop-down lists right away for you. When you're done, you can save and print. Just like the incident objectives, this is going to come through on a standard ICS form in PDF, which you can then continue to edit or print as needed. And that's communications plans. So next we will do the medical plan. So this is going to go very quickly, given that we've already filled out pre-made ambulance services and pre-made hospitals. We're just going to pick the ones relevant to the North Island here. Save and print. So here's our first aid plan, or our medical plan. Got our ambulance services and our hospitals filled in already. Obviously it won't know the travel times because I don't know where you're setting up your ICP, but the rest of it will be filled in there for you. You'll also notice the option to specify a rapid intervention team. If you pick any team that you've created under team assignments, it will then populate that rapid intervention team section with the team members that were on that team. And that's it for the medical plan. So we have already completed the incident objectives, communications plan, and medical plan. We're about halfway through in just a few minutes. Next, we're going to fill out our organizational chart. So you'll see here that you can fill out that full org chart. Obviously, you're only going to include as much or as little as is needed to perform the various functions you're going to need to do. So specify a SAR manager, a safety officer. Let's just set up some section chiefs here. And we'll hit save and print. Unsurprisingly, it now appears in that standard ICS form with the names filled in. You're also going to notice now that we've specified names for some of these roles, they're going to appear up here in the prepared by and approved by sections on this form. You'll find that those names fill in on other forms as well. For example, if we go back to that incident objectives form and print it again, yeah, that's now prepared by and approved by based on those ICS roles we specified in the org chart. Similarly, the communications plan, once we generate a new copy of the PDF, is going to have that logistics officer specified there as well. And that carries through to all the other forms. Once you've specified them on the org chart, they'll appear in the relevant fields on all the other forms. Okay, next let's move on to the subject profile. So we're just going to click here on subject profile. Notice you can have this for multiple subjects, obviously, for your search. So we're just going to create a new one here. Subject is missing. Subject's name is Yoda. We're just going to go ahead and pick a picture here. One of the neat little things about this app is that it will put that picture right onto your lost person form. Age, not really sure. Gender is Muppet. And you can fill out the rest of this as much or as little as you need to fill out based on the information you've got, and then save and print. So there we go, prepared by, and that's picked up the name of our planning section chief. And there's the picture of our subject and whatever other information we had to include. So you could add another subject here as well if you needed to. We're not going to right now. All right, so we're nearly done. One thing I should note is part of the incident action plan is your operations plan. Now that PDF is just generated automatically based on the assignments that we've created. And so there you see all the assignments that we've made in the team assignment section, as well as the total number of people for each of those assignments. Last thing we're going to look at here is the briefing section. So we're just going to click SMEAC briefings. And here you'll see all of the different item headers for a full SMEAC briefing. And one thing you'll notice is that it's tried to pull as much information as it can from the other forms you've completed, which is why we're doing it last. So it's pulled in the task number and tasking agency number from that main form right there. Had we included more information in the subject profile, it would be included here. You see it's picked up the name, sex, and age of the subject. If we'd added all this other stuff, it would include that as well. Urgency, it's pulled out anything that was a 1 from that urgency calculation, and so forth. So any information we've included, that's all the situation stuff. Jump over to mission, execution, admin logistics, and finally command and communications. And here it's pulled in the elements of the organizational chart. From here it's pulled in our comms plan and the incident command post call sign again from where we've entered it elsewhere. So you can go ahead and add whatever else you need to here, just as much or as little as you've got, and save and print. Now in this case it doesn't print on an ICS form, there just isn't one appropriate to a SMEAC briefing for a team. But there it is, so it just fills in the parts that you've included, leaving in a couple of headers, but otherwise just the stuff you've included, date you printed it, and now it's ready to go for briefing your general troops here. Another thing to note about that and the subject profile is that both can be included in your team assignments. So if we go to our team assignments, verify that we've got these options ticked for for the print options, hit save and print. And now we're going to get our team assignment forms as you'd expect, but we're also going to get that briefing with a big space here for mission and for execution. Then it'll pick up the admin logistics and command communication. That's designed to let your team leaders fill in the part that are specific to their assignment, but give them all the stuff that's going to be consistent across the operational period, just to make briefings teams just that little bit faster and easier. And they're going to get a copy of your subject profiles as well. Again, that's all one PDF file, so that could easily be emailed or transferred by some other means electronically to team leaders or to teams in general, just as a single file. Just make life a little easier. So that's about it for the incident action plan. You can print this whole thing by clicking that button there. It creates a single PDF with your entire incident action plan. That will include blank pages if some of these weren't filled out, so then you can complete them either in the PDF or print it out and complete them by hand as desired. The last option we're going to talk about is safety plans. So you can add safety plans as well. They're not technically part of the incident action plan, but often get grouped together. So there are some pre-made ones. You can add your own, of course. There's ATV riders in the area, so here's a safety plan for that, including any safety equipment needed. Save and print. And there's our safety plan saved on the side here. If you want to edit it or delete it, you can. And then when we go back to our options, we can choose whether or not to include those safety plans as part of that incident action plan document. If you do, we'll check that as well. When you print the incident action plan, it'll just append those at the end. Go all the way to the end, and there's our safety plan there. You'll notice I also ticked the box for include lost person questionnaire. My app doesn't complete this for you other than that little bit at the top, but it is part of the incident action plan and is generated as part of the PDF if you want it to be, and you can fill it in here or again print it out and write it by hand at your option. Overall, I found this print action plan that creates a single PDF to be really helpful for briefing the SAR specialist or the regional manager at the end of an operational period, or to provide the RCMP for their files as well. All right, well, thanks for joining me. In this tutorial, we went over the incident action plan and how to complete the various forms in it. Hopefully, you found the idea of using the presets to be an appealing option, get it done a bit faster, just make life easier. So there are a number of other tutorials on using the Incident Command Assistant software. I will link to them up there and down there in the comments below as well. In the comments, you'll also see a link to download the software if you haven't already, and to reach out if you have any more questions. I hope it helps. Good luck with your task.